Hi everyone, welcome to Drawing Club. Today we're drawing Pete, the Petrified Poltergeist. Ooh. Okay, so this is Pete, the Petrified Poltergeist. And he's a ghost who's a little bit scared, and we'll talk about why later on. But to draw Pete, you are going to need a pencil, an eraser to erase any mistakes, or your pencil lines at the end of the drawing, and a pencil sharpener, just in case you need one, and a black marker or a black pencil crayon to outline your picture after you're finished with the pencil. But as I always do, we are going to start my drawing with a gray marker just so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so like almost every drawing we start, we're going to start Pete with a big circle just to show most of his body. So I'm going to start it up here. I'm going to make a nice big round shape. Now at the end I'm going to erase some of that round shape because we don't need all of it, but it's just good to start with a nice kind of big round shape like that. Okay, and that's most of Pete's body. Now the bottom part of Pete's body, because he is a ghost, he's got this kind of like wavy, flapping kind of, looks almost like it's a fabric or a sheet. So we're just going to do some curving lines and then up and down gently, up and down gently, up and down, and then connect it back to the circle. And now at the end of the drawing you can actually erase that bottom part of the circle because we won't need it after we use the black marker. Now Pete's got two big round scared looking eyes, so I'm going to draw two circles. And if you've been doing drawing club drawings with me before, then you'll know we often do these kind of round eyes with these bean shapes inside to show that there's some light shining. It just makes the characters look a little bit more cute and funny. So there's one, and there's another small circle. And remember, as always, if I'm drawing too quickly, you can always pause the video and catch up. There's another circle, and one more. Now Pete's got a little round, surprised mouth. So just a little circle to show that he's shocked. And then two little arms, just two little curving lines coming up to his mouth like he's saying, "Oh," because he's a scared little ghost. Just like that. And that's really all we need to do for Pete. Now I drew a haunted house behind Pete. You can draw that too if you'd like. I'm going to add it right now. But if you only wanted to do Pete, that's all you would have to do. Oh, you know what? Before we finish, I'm going to just make two oval shapes to show where I would want to color. I'm going to do them very lightly, where I would want to color in his cheeks after I finish with the black marker. So now the house is going to be made mostly of just triangles and straight lines. So I'm going to draw a triangle shape here, like this. And then I'm going to bring this line in a little bit like this, and then almost, not straight down, but at an angle. I'm going to bring it down to there. Okay? And then for the roof of the house, I'm going to draw another straight line coming down like this, and a straight line going a little bit up like this. And I'm going to join those two lines together to make the roof. Just like that. And then for the sides of the house, I'm just going to put two straight lines, one like this, and one right next to it, like this. Now the house is on a hill, so I'm going to make a curving line to show that there's a kind of a round hill, just like that. But I'm going to stop it there before it goes through. Although, of course, you could make Pete see-through if you wanted. He is a ghost. And then there's a little tower on top of this haunted house. So I'm going to draw two straight lines for the tower, and then another triangle on the top. Just like that, like a kind of like a piece of pizza that's pointing up. And there are some windows in this house if you want to put them in. I put in a window right there. And then I'm going to put a window into the tower. They're almost like, kind of like a triangle shape with a little bit of a more curved line. But you could make them triangles, or you could make them rectangles or square windows. I'm going to put in a door, so I'm going to make this one a little bit bigger. So it has a triangle shape at the top and then 2 straight lines coming down the sides. And I'm going to put one more window near the top of the house, just like that. When I colored this, I colored in some more shapes down here to show that the light was coming out of the windows. You can do the same when I show you the color version if you want, or you can just color it however you'd like. And then I'm going to put in a kind of a tree that looks a little bit scary because this is a haunted house, so it's going to be a bit of a bumpy old tree. So I'm just going to draw a kind of a bumpy line like this, and another one right next to it, like this for one part of the tree. And then I'm going to put some branches coming off of it. Just again, kind of a bumpy looking line to make it look like an old, gnarled tree. And I'm giving it almost like little claws coming out of the ends of the tree to make it look a little bit more of like a scary, haunted type of tree. There we go. But of course, you can change the shapes here. You can make it look different if you'd like. It doesn't have to look exactly the same. And my drawings never look exactly the same as even my original drawings that I do, that I start each episode with. Every time there's little changes that happen. And then I think in my drawing I had put a cloud up here, so I'm going to put it in. Just making little bumps like this. Sometimes clouds are a bit more flat on the bottom and a bit more bumpy on the top. So that's what I did. And then I'm going to try to make a circle here. It's difficult to just draw a circle just using a pencil. So sometimes if you have something round, like here's some, you know what? I have some tape right next to me. I'm going to use this. That's a nice way. It's not really cheating. So I'm just going to use this and trace around it to make a perfect circle, which will look even better than the one I did on the first drawing, because the one I did on the first drawing, I didn't actually use anything to make it. So there we go. You can do that, or you can just use, like I did for my first one, just use your hand and try to do your best circle. Okay, so now I'm going to put away what you should be using a pencil. I'm going to put away my gray marker, and I'm going to go to my outliner black marker to do the rest of the drawing. Now you might be wondering, why is Pete scared of this haunted house? And it's a good question, because actually a lot of Pete's ghost friends laugh at him. They think it's really silly that a ghost would be scared of a haunted mansion, because of course a haunted mansion is usually a place where ghosts live. And Pete, he doesn't really like it when the other ghosts make fun of him. It makes him feel sad. And so what he told them is that it's true that he's a ghost, but he said, I don't know the ghosts that live in that house, and they might not be nice ghosts, and that's why I'm scared of spooky-looking haunted mansions like that. And you know what? Being scared is not always a bad thing. A long, long time ago, when human beings used to live in caves, and we didn't know a lot about the things that were on our world. We didn't really know which animals were dangerous and which animals were safe. And so, for example, if you were out walking and you saw a snake in the grass, of course you would feel very scared, because you wouldn't know if that snake was a dangerous snake or not. And so, as we humans have lived on our planet for a long time, we still have that old part of our brain that tells us to be careful when we see something new or something different or something kind of scary. And something that I learned from teachers at school and from Ms. Aaron is that this part, if you can make a kind of a picture of your brain using your hand, and this part here is the oldest part of your brain. It's called the amygdala, and it's inside the middle, and then the rest of your brain just wraps around it kind of like this. And this is the thinking part of your brain, the front part. But if you get really scared or you get really upset, sometimes this part kind of flips up and we start using the old part of our brain, which is the part that controls us when we're feeling really scared, we want to run away, or it makes us want to sometimes fight. And so we have to work really hard sometimes to put back on the top of our brain, this thinking part, and make good decisions when we're scared or when we're upset. And so maybe in a situation where Pete is feeling really upset or really scared, he might need to use that front part of his brain, and he might need to use some of our strategies we've talked about for how to get calm again. So for example, he might want to try some of that belly breathing or cupcake breathing, just to calm himself back down again. But of course, sometimes it is okay, as I said, to be scared of things that you don't really know, just because it might be protecting us. So if I saw a really spooky old house like this that looked like it was falling down, then maybe I should be scared. Maybe it's not a safe place to go into. And so maybe Pete is making a good choice when he decides he doesn't want to go in there either. He doesn't know what's in there. He doesn't know who's in there. He doesn't even know if it's a safe place to be. So he's going to not go in there. Even if other ghosts laugh at him and make fun of him, he's not going to make a bad choice or a dangerous choice just because of what other people say. And I think that's a good way for us to be too. I can remember when I was small, I sometimes got scared of things that now when I'm older, I think, well, that was a little bit silly to be scared of that. But at the same time, I think I was small, and that's okay. When we're small, we're still trying to figure out which things are safe things and which things are not. One thing that I was very scared of was the noise that our toilet made, because it made a very loud noise when you flushed it when I was a kid. And it used to scare me, and I used to actually run out of the bathroom whenever I would have to flush the toilet and run all the way downstairs into the kitchen. And my heart would be beating really fast. That's how I knew I was really scared. And now it's funny, I think about that and I laugh. But at the time when I was small, it didn't seem funny at all. It seemed really scary. And I remember another thing. When I used to walk to school, there was a dog that used to run down out of the garden and bark at the gate. And it also used to really scare me. Even though it couldn't get through the gate and get at me, it used to really scare me every time I walked past. So I used to walk to the other side of the road just so I didn't have to be too close to that house where that dog was. And I think that that wasn't a bad idea. It made it easier for me to walk to school. I'm just going to put some black into the ghost's eyes here, just like this, to make them shine a little bit more. And here we go on the other side. So that is Pete, the Petrified Poltergeist. Petrified is another word for scared, and poltergeist is another word for ghost. Well, let's color the top part of Pete's mouth in black as well. Okay, so that is Pete, the Petrified Poltergeist, and the haunted house that he does not want to go into. And here is the color version again. So you can see in my original version, I just drew this circle using a pencil. I didn't use something, so I made it much bigger because I used that roll of tape. And I colored in the windows yellow to show that there was some light inside, and then I added these extra shapes here to show the light was shining through. But you don't have to do that. You can color the picture any way you want. But I used some yellow at the side to show the light shining on him too, and some yellow in his eyes to show the same light coming out of the house. I used some pink and some purple in the eyes, some purple in his mouth, a little bit of light blue to shade his body, and then a mix of darker blues, blacks, and purples to make that kind of night sky. And a little bit of green to show that there's some grass on the tree. Sorry, on the hill. Okay, thanks so much for coming today and drawing with me. I can't wait to see you guys again.